Welcome.
All broadcasting live from Daytona Beach, Florida. This is Lighting the Void live on the Fringe FM, and I'm your host, Joe Roop. It's Monday night, Monday night, music night. But there's going to be music and talk tonight because I got a special guest. We're going to talk a little conspiracy, the good, the bad, the ugly. But we got a special guest coming on shortly. Bayou Jones, one of the other members of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Special Gentlemen. It's Tippy's friend. And I eventually want to talk to the whole crew. So, you know, Monday and Friday nights we do music, and we did some cool New Year's Eve stuff. I got to tell you, man, the virtual event that Alex put on was epic. If you missed that, it was epic. I couldn't talk to everybody, but S Magician showed up and he represented. He just hung out and represented. I couldn't talk to him because I think when you used a phone or something like that, it wasn't like you had to have a headset and a mic. So we're learning this stuff too. I think Chance showed up. Chauncey showed up. A lot of people showed up. There was one time when a bunch of people showed up, and I kept coming in and out. But dude, it was fun. We had a dance party here in the house and a dance party in the art event. We sold a little bit of art, had a little fun. But the cool thing that's coming too is the virtual Fringe FM studios, and I got my own little thing I've made for the members too that they can go hang out and participate in if you're into virtual reality. I just like being a part of this stuff, the whole creative process, all of it. All of it. To be able to express yourself and create is great. Same thing on the Fringe. Like if you want to do a talk or a music show, we have it. We got you. We got you. Podcast, whatever, doesn't matter. You can play what you want. It's we play what we want, how what we want. We say what we want, when we want. We want to do it how we want to do it. But you know, we don't really have any big time corporate people telling us what to do either. So that's another good thing. So for all of you that showed up to the New Year's Eve thing, thank you for showing up. That meant the world to Alex. It meant the world to the artists. Man, we had artists that came in that were just like people we didn't even know. We made some cool contacts too. It was fun New Year's Eve. Also want to thank Brian for donating and kicking us off for the month. He kicked off the Fringe pretty hard, right? He donated a little chunk to help kickstart the Fringe for the new year. That was freaking really cool. I got your card in the mail, brother. Thank you. The station really needs it. And what we'll start doing is itemizing everything so you guys can see actually where your money goes. I think that's, if you're donating, I think it's important that you see that. So, yeah, I want to kick this off because if it wasn't for Anthony Tyler and Black Hoodie Alchemy, I wouldn't even know about these people. You remember Tippy the Redneck, right? Well, and there's a whole group of characters of these people that go down to the Everglades and they hunt alligators. Look, I'm still trying to figure out what these guys are doing, all right? But the phone lines are open all night. We're going to be doing a music show. We're going to be taking your requests. I'm going to be talking about some conspiracies tonight. Not really. Well, you know me, I'm a pretty opinionated person, so I'll probably tell you what I think about it, but some of these are pretty freaking weird. Like, there were some that I didn't even know about, like the whole birds aren't real thing. Every time I talk about this stuff, people are like, yeah, you didn't know about that one? No, I didn't, but I dug into some of this stuff, and it's pretty crazy. We'll talk about some cults and stuff, too. This whole night tonight, I'm going to do the music show. We're going to do a little Wolfman night, but the talk that happens tonight is going to be inspired by, I would say, Black Hoodie Alchemy, Anthony Tyler and his group of people or whatever. So here's the interview that I got to do before New Year's Eve from, the League of, I guess it's the League of I don't know what the hell they call themselves. I'm still trying to figure all this out. And if you figure some stuff out before I do, let me know. All right, let's not stand on ceremony. Let's play this thing. After talking to Tippy, I know you talked about his flock and his people. I don't remember all their names, but I do know one of them was Bayou Jones, and I've actually been contacted. I hope I get to hear the whole crew, but now we've got Bayou Jones on the show. and I am just investigating the hell out of this because I want to see what this is all about after Tippy's whole thing. So Bayou Jones, is that right? I got your name correct, right?
Yes, sir. Dang old man. I'm just a good old skinny white boy. I was raised by some gators out here in the Everglades, and I just trying to save old dang old humankind, So I appreciate you having me on the show, man. It's gonna be a good old time.
And Tippy is the leader of y'all's group. Is that right? Is he like the head guy?
Well, I guess he's dang old he does like coordination and stuff like that, and he's good at like talking with the people. You hear me? I do my best to enunciate, but it don't come out no good sometimes. But dang old boy, man.
You sound fine. So what's your role in this group? What is it the thing that you do?
Hey man, I ain't got no dang old problem. I'll tell you what though, got talking about. You're the one hang carrying a burger around on a pillow,
So okay. So all right. So how do you guys identify? I know you're down there in the Everglades sometimes. I know Tippy's from I think it's Definiak Springs, but you go to the Everglades and you guys hunt these Illuminati gators, and you are all scrying with scat, and I'm just curious as to like how has this changed your life? Are you a spiritual person, or do you just follow Tippy around?
I mean, I guess you could say that I'm spiritual. But I tell you what, man, I got a real bad headache right now, and I understand there's a judgment dang old free zone. I'm just gonna pull out this dang old pipe and hit the grits. You know what I'm saying?
Hit the grits. No.
Yeah, the grits, like the black rock or hard rock or purple caps, candy, chemical. And that gravel, grit, or hail, jelly beans, tornado, nuggets, gator buddy, Scrabble, or that crack cocaine, boy. I'm going to hit this real quick.
All right. This is a first. I've never had anybody smoke crack on the show, but I guess if you got to do what you got to do. But it is a judgment-free zone, I promise. I'm not here to judge, just investigating.
God damn. All right, so I just need you to listen up here, because
sure.
There's a lot to go over. Okay, so I tell you what, man, you talk about them gators out there in the Everglades and old Tippy. He come out and he helped me sometime, but I did one of them gator sniper hunts last week in the swamp with them sticks and bags, and I went whack and man go and they talk about a big mistake, y'all. I was right there in the cooler I got right here. But I tell you what, I went home and I watched some dang old TV after that. You see that part where dang old George, he come in, he talking about tasting his burps, and Kramer comes all sliding in right there like he always does, and them New York boys, man, it's just a show about nothing. It's a hoot. It made me feel a little bit better after that.
Seinfeld. Okay. All right. So,
yeah, well, I mean, good old Derek Seinfeld. I really do like Kramer. But dang, I'll tell you what, man, got talking about, I feel like very enlightened. I think that I'm like a little bit better than a lot of people because I put into work, you know what I'm saying? So it just it only makes sense. We got the League of Extra Special Gentlemen and cook up them gators, and you come on out to Everglades, you help us hunt gator, or you can, we'll sell you the best dang old gator nuggets you ever had in your life. You can smoke some crack cocaine too.
Thanks. Thanks. Sure. I plan on coming out there, but I want to make sure that, I asked Tippy and make sure he had tags, and I don't think he understood what I was saying, right? Like, I don't want to break any laws or anything, but I guess, you know what? It's the Everglades. I guess it doesn't matter, right? And who cares?
Yeah. Well, I tried to tell him he had to get on a hunting tag. Tippy, he keep thinking that it's a game of tag, and he ain't the smartest. But I tried to go on the internet and get them tags, dango. But I tell you what, you go in there and you just point and click, and you go talk about www.wcom, and you got them naked chicks on there, and you just go click. This dango easy, man. It's distracting.
Yeah, I bet. So you didn't get your tags though, did you? I guess, huh?
No, but we've been selling a lot of them gator nuggets anyway, and it seems to be all right so far.
Wait, what's a gator nugget? Gator nuggets? Like chicken nuggets?
Yeah, boy.
Damn, that sounds pretty good, actually. I like gator meat. I do like alligator meat. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, well, some might say it's a bit odd that I like to eat gator so much when I don't raised by them, but they just super tasty.
Wait a minute, you were raised by gators?
Yes, sir. I don't raise my gators.
You got a daddy and mommy gator that raised you.
Yeah, well, I think that my parents, I don't know what happened to them, but I don't find myself in the swamp one day. And destiny, man. Talk about dang old destiny. Dang old fancy God planets align. Dang old daggum, just like the tree of life and the big old dipster in the sky. Destiny and them dipsters. I'm just like a North Star and them Northern Lights and UPS and Hertz Rent-A-Car. I'm just always going to be in demand here in the Everglades. And Gators like me.
Well, I hope they like me, and not in a bad way. I want to figure out what it is. See, I want to talk to all of you because I'm trying to figure out what it is that you actually believe. Now, Tippy told me that he believes that Henry Ford is the Messiah, and this is a judge-free zone. I'm just trying to find out what it is that your group, I was going to say flock, but group, believe. Like, do you believe Henry Ford is the Messiah?
Joseph, I got a dang old headache again, and go ahead, Henry Ford. I'm just gonna hit this. Well, damn, Henry Ford. He's a good old boy. And I do think something about I don't think all Gator people are bad. And see, some of them Gator, they raised me. But some of them are Illuminatis. And the bare fact of the matter is, Tippy like to talk about Henry Ford a lot, and I really, really fucking love those Ford trucks. I don't really know where I stand on Henry Ford, but I know that I do believe he was Jesus, but I don't think he was Buddha. There's a little bit too much for me. It just dang old depends, man.
Wow. Okay. So what is the main thing that you guys are really trying to do? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Well,
you all right?
Yeah, I get a little woozy there, dang, but you listen here, that ain't gonna mean in life, man. And this is how we see it, and this is what we're trying to do to everybody else and help everybody else out. You're a lump of brand new that friggin' old born into this nash world like a butterfly flapping its wings deep down that old bayou, and it's gonna get scaly baseball tree friggin' like a 50,000 miles in the way, man. If y'all positively gribbly blibble snatched, it ain't nobody seen no done eating. I'll be damned, buddy. I'll be a baby born into this world and my vivacious moral green plant coming out of that swamp. Neck hot, dang friend, hot no nothing but got coke in it and finna find out dang old evil, man. Dang old evil. Man, see, like, dang old don't even know, man.
What the Okay. All right. Well, maybe I got an answer out of that. You know what I would say is, like, try to. Does the crack help? Does it help you? I'm glad you don't have a headache anymore. See, I'm trying to. So I still haven't figured out what it is you guys are doing, just to be honest with you. But I think maybe you are doing good things in the Everglades. And Tippy was a very interesting interview. And like I told you guys, we're talking to Bayou Jones tonight. And there's no judgment here, by the way. I don't judge. I keep an open mind because, you never know, right? But I think I'm starting to understand that you guys believe that there are evil alligators trying to take over the world. I'm wondering if you got that from the whole reptile thing, or is it really just alligators, right? Like, alligators don't seem that evil to me. No offense or anything.
Listen here, the reptilian alien, they come down and they take the dang old form of the gator because it's like camouflage. We try to go in and we try to like suss them out, and the guy talking about, we try to separate the dang old wheat from the chaff, man. And everybody out there listening to this, I just want y'all to know that we sleep with one eye open, so you don't have to, because we out there doing the Ford's work, and it's real dirty. But if we don't go out there and wrestle them gators in the mud, they gonna come to your baby crib at night. That's the Lord's truth right there, man. So
I'm going to kind of wrap this up because I don't want to take too much of your time here, but I don't know how much time you got. But listen, do you believe that you are actually spiritually enlightened more than other people are? Is that what you're telling me?
I do believe that, but I ain't immune to no headache. So I feel that come down. I got.
die.
I'm doing all right over here now. I'm feeling just fine. And Dango, guy talking about it's like born into the Joe. Do you listen to me?
I got you.
Listen to me, Joe. All right, you're born into an apple sandwich with dirt in it, boy. And it's like head off, man. Head off, man. See, like you don't even know. You got it like angel dust in the wind, man, or like a Roman candle. Or like a Roman candle. You don't no matter it's the old babies or the dang old no time skippies. You know what I think, Dango? I think therefore you are, man. And listen here, man. Dango, good lungs is like your lungs on air with a bow on top, and this is your lungs, but it's on. You smoke. You smoking. You see that? It's going to stunt your dang old growth all over that tobacco. Mm-hmm. Either ended up lying there like Morton Downey Jr. or even like Robert Downey Jr. Even worse, yo. I scrape all that black stuff off my burnt toast, Dango, before I go. My sandwiches, y'all getting that oral gratification from that smoking that catnip and tobacco, and you ain't hitting no gator buddy crack cocaine. It's gonna give you a low sperm count, man. It's gonna put hair in your ear too. Ain't no good.
Right. I think I'm starting to get a headache now too. Maybe I should try some of that. Maybe it'll get rid of my headaches. I've been getting a lot of headaches lately. Talking about this stuff.
Well, Joe, life be complicated in a sort of particulate in a way. Kind of like an aftershave or like that crack cocaine, or even better, Dango, like a Rubik's Cube, man. Talking about blue to red, man, red to blue. Talking about Dango getting one side done and Dango messing up the other side, man.
I think I understood that part right there. Okay, and maybe you are enlightened.
Dango, boy, man.
Thanks for coming on. I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to tell us while you're here? Because I know Tippy said you'd be pretty nervous. Well,
I tell you, man, I ain't seen nothing about them dang old politicians trying to make anything scrumptious enough for anyone to eat. Dang old bellies are full. And my head to come out so much time I tried retouching it. I tell you what, after all that happened, I saw the whole world in a brand new light. And that caused me to want to fight for freedom of the humanity against the reptilian swamp overlord. And I take them by the dang old hands and flap them all that up so high they can't even tell nowhere, no how what I've been talking about in that way, shape, that gum, no fucking how. I tell you what, strangle with my bare hands, bladder them up real good, and I cook them all stick for the boys. But in a dang old year, 1597, I saw something totally unexplainable. I tell you what, I was living in that Northern European peasant with psychic powers. Dang I saw fine candy cane in the sky. Y'all won't even believe it, but it dang quest to find a dang truth ever since, man.
Well, thank you, I think. Is that what I should say?
Thank you, man. Shoot. Talking about destiny.
I think I understand something about flying candy canes. And I feel like I feel like you got some kind of purpose that you want to talk about here based on the flying candy canes. Is that right?
It was the beginning of something real beautiful. And yeah, ever since then, I've been raised by the white magic alligator. They don't practice no black magic. They say, dang, I'm trying to get a headache again, but I'm gonna have to go out. I gotta go out and meet my friend about something that is not related to dang on me running out of crack cocaine. But so I'm gonna have to let you go here soon. But I just wanted to say that the alligators I was raised by were good people. But ever since realizing that most gators are reptilian from the outer spaces, and if they don't fly on them candy cane, Tippy and I and good old Randy Stamp and some of the new recruits that we got, we been eating a lot of mushrooms and gator meat, and we just trying to make sure that y'all don't have to worry. You know, there'll be a time one day where you don't have to lock your door and worry about no gator people coming in the middle of the night. But until then, the League of Extra Special Gentlemen is gonna be out in them Everglades helping. Y'all just, anytime you just come out and meet us, and we give you all the help we can get. So you just do that, and dango, it'll be a good time. Dango.
I hope to see y'all soon, and thanks for thanks for doing the forwards work by you. I appreciate it.
Boy, man.
We'll be right back. In the broadcast, we talk about the power of the unconscious, right? Or the how do we get led astray? This is something that Black Hoodie Alchemy has inspired me to discuss, but things might get a little dark here. But after all, we are walking around in the void, and there isn't just a bunch of flowers and fairies walking around in this place. So it's important that you understand the power of the unconscious. I say this all the time because you are a puppet of your unconscious. It's the thing that serves you.
This is Reverend John M. Polk from johnpolkmedia.com, and you are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
So we don't know, and I want to welcome everybody who just joined us to Lighting the Void. It's a Monday night music night. We do talk and music here, but that's fine on Mondays, and then Fridays we do a music show. Again, like, I want to thank everybody that came out to the New Year's thing. It was so freaking cool. I'm impressed with what Alex has done. I'm impressed with the artists, all the artists. There's some snooty artists out there, by the way. I'm just saying, in the art world, there's snooty people. But the people that aren't snooty about it, that are fun and creative and just open to like growing this thing, it was a good time. We hung out in the art gallery. People observed the art. There's DJs. There's European DJs too. Bart Simpson showed up, and my son was there. It was cool to get to hang out with my son like that too all night on New Year's Eve. Then we had a dance party here in the studio, which was pretty cool. And yeah, it was a good time. So thank you guys for coming out. I have to say that. I also want to tell you about the new event that you need to go to. It's coming. It's so close, man. I'm nervous about it. The Contact at the Cabin event, I wasn't nervous last year, but I'm nervous about this one for something, and that's always a good sign. It's good to be nervous. Because I'm the guy that goes up there and talks about, magic and the out-of-body experience, while everybody else kind of gets to talk about, the, I guess you could say, I don't want to call it, it's not mundane. It's not mundane, but more like real life stuff, right? Because people are afraid, I think, in a way, to put this magic thing on it sometimes, because they might get portrayed as woo-woo or something like that. But we're going to like break that whole paradigm, because it's not really about that. It's about understanding the unconscious and the symbolism in your life and how to deal with it, and to learn to speak to what's speaking with you. Because if you don't, you might fall prey to some bad stuff. Just saying. It's out there, folks. I mean, why deny it? We don't live in a world of light. We live in a world of light and dark. So there'll be a lot of things talked about, The Wim Hof stuff's going to be there. Owen Hunt's going to be there. He's the blue-collar mystic, producer, comedian, and coach. I thought I started this whole journey when I was in 2017. I really did. I thought, did I start doing this in 2017? Well, I had to switch phones because Magician's Right. I've been technologically disinclined here lately. He got to witness the whole frustration of it the night before New Year's. So I had to switch phones, but switching that phone allowed me to see just how long I've actually been doing this. And I've been doing this since 2014. That's when I started doing this whole thing. It was 2014. So that's 9 years, actually. Not 6. No, that's Sir Flassic Newton. Oh, bro. He's asking, is this dude for real? Come on now. Come on, brother. It's satire, but it's still cool. So I've been doing this since 2014. So that's how long the manifestation took, right? And that's when I remember, because that's when I was working for Verizon. It's when I started the out of body and see, this is how bad my memory is. I started the whole out of body and astral travel stuff thing in 2014, not 2017. I don't keep up with time. Sometimes I don't even know what freaking day it is. So anyways, when we go out to the Shasta thing, for those of you that are already coming, I can't wait to hang out with you. I know a few of you that bought tickets. We're going to hang out. But I'm going to be talking about the occult, conscious exploration, the out-of-body experience, and a little bit about future tech. A little bit. But Greg Carlwood will be there. So will Owen and Brandon Powell. And this is what people are going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about the psychology of evolution, the science of authenticity. Authenticity. This is how you don't get caught up in an occult. You don't get caught up in a cult or have someone lead you around or, need to cling on to anybody when you become authentic. That's a part of spirituality, right? The difference between personality and essence, accomplishing goals, identifying the perfect goal by remembering, not self-achieving, but just remembering who you are and embracing your whole journey. But I'm specifically going to talk about the understanding of magical operations, the theurgy, and the power of the unconscious. And we'll do some guided relaxation and vibratory state meditations. I guarantee you someone there is going to get to the vibratory state and possibly out of body if I'm there actually guiding you through it. If you're fighting it the whole way, it may not happen. But for those people that enjoy relaxation and focus, it'll happen. Something will happen. And then I'll also be discussing how to build an effective altar and sacred space. Now, for those of you who look at the reality like it's a code or simulation, it's all the same stuff. We'll be talking about that too. It's both code and magical. I mean, damn, I'm nervous though, but I can't wait to see you guys there. One of the reasons why we discuss this is because we also live in a world of fantastic manipulation. In fact, some of the most successful people on this planet are, let's face it, they're good at manipulation. Long form manipulation. This is why Christ talks about everyone has a cross to bear. For those people that are authentic and honest and vulnerable and loving and want to get through the world in that way, it's a son of a bitch. Because of the majority of folks out there are running some kind of ego manipulation. And this is the thing. When you read, people say, well, man, damn, that's dark. Well, Ecclesiastes says the more stuff you learn, the darker it gets. So I think they're right. So you start to pick up on subtle cues, the kind of people that need power and influence, the kind of people that thrive on power and influence and manipulation. This is why I kind of hid in the shack to begin with, because I just don't want to be around it. These are the kind of people that will always try to take power over every situation they get into, whether it's a phone call, they got to be the initiator and the person that hangs up on you all the time, or it's an entire empire. Now, these people are very successful, but some of these people turn into cult leaders, and this is where it gets dark. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if you put it into your career, and because you have to deal with a lot of dark people. If you're going to focus on money, you just have to. I don't even say dark people. Let's just say dark principalities. It's not going to go away. But damn, there's some people that are running some game on folk out here. For instance, we get smarter as humans too, believe it or not. Not dumber. We get smarter about this. Have you guys ever heard of, and Anthony turned me on to this thing called Aum Shinrikyo. It's spelled AUM. Now, this was a Japanese doomsday cult founded by Shoko Asahara in 1987. I was 5 years old. And they carried out a sarin attack in 1995 and was found to have been responsible for the Matsumoto sarin attack the previous year. They classified themselves as a religious movement, a dharmic spiritual movement. Does that sound familiar today? And they did this for years, right? So when you build a cult, you don't try to brainwash people in a month and then go after what you're really after. You take time, right? You build a cult. You build a following. This is what scares me about the internet, too. Sometimes this is why I hide from that, too. So I'm just being honest with you. Like, when I read this stuff, it makes me think, how can some of these people be so damn dumb? But we've all done it. We've all put our trust in somebody. We've all put our trust in someone that we thought was out for our best interest. Or maybe we projected that onto someone, even when they were telling us, don't look at me. See, that's the other dark side of this learned helplessness thing that we do. So it took a long time to investigate this. It took a long time for the people to be punished for what these people did. Years. Actually, just a few years ago, some of the people just got punished. Some of his members ended up on death row. Now imagine that you go to a place not knowing this, right? You go to a retreat or anything like that, and I can assure you that the Magic on the Mountain event this is not about this, but it's important that you know what people's agendas are, right? There's nothing dark that's going to happen here. I've met most of these people that go to these events. These are good people, man. These are really good people. But there are people, what I'm trying to understand, I guess, in this void walking experience is how some people can just be duped so easily. And if any of you have followed the show for a long time, you know, I told you, always check your own stuff. People can make stuff sound really cool, and I don't care how cool and real and logical it sounds, you need to check it out for yourself. Or you're not really a void walker. You're not. You're a person that needs to take somebody's word for something so you can be comfortable. I suggest not doing that because things are about to get crazy technologically. Everybody's going to be their own hero on the internet. You have to really know yourself for the future that's coming. So on July 6th of 2018, Asahar and his 6 followers were executed as a punishment for the 1995 attacks and other crimes. The remaining 6 on death row were executed on July 26th, New Year's Eve 2019. This just happened a few years ago, the executions. I'm going to tell you the story about how these people started and we're going to play music through this too, okay? But how these people started out as a dharmic, Buddhist, Christian movement, full of meditation, oohs and ahs and love and light, and ended up turning into a terrorist organization, sarin gassing people. This is why I talk about the unconscious so much. I know people will get, man, all you do is talk about fear and shadow work and the unconscious. It's only because I really do love you. If I didn't, I would just tell you what you wanted to hear all the time. I swear to God I would. I would pat you on the head and say everything is going to be okay. But once you really step into your own power and remember who you are, not earn who you are, but just remember, it will be okay. Yoga meetings. So as we go through this story, I want you to imagine going to the first meetings here. It's kind of like there was another show I wanted to do this about, which was the twin flames thing, but I never really got into it because there's a whole other crazy dark side to that thing too, but that's a future show. But this gets pretty weird. And this is why people are skeptic. This is why you should be skeptical. You should be skeptical of magic. You should be skeptical of the out-of-body experience. You should be skeptical of anything that anybody says. But you will not find out the truth. And if you really do care about the truth, there is no other way to find out more truth in your own experience. If you're not willing to experience it, then I guess you're just going to spin circles and ask questions your whole life. That's the safe way. But that ain't real void walking. But, you know, not everybody's a void walker either, are they? Here we go. Let's say this, though. The one good thing that we have on this earth is love. You can't buy it. You can't. You can try, but you can't. Robin Schultz knows that. And I think, I'm going to talk about this tonight. Just for a second, I almost backed out of it because it's pretty dark, but I got to get it off my mind, man. All right, we'll be right back. So imagine you're in Japan, 1987. I love Malpe. I love this song. You know, this song has stayed on Beatport DJ like in the top 50 for over almost a freaking year now. It's got to be speaking to the unconscious somehow, right? Or people just really want their drugs from Amsterdam. Or Malpe knows what he's doing. So imagine it's 1987. It's the late 80s. All the cool music is out. Man, you got every reason to be happy. But there's some guy living out of his one-bedroom apartment in Shoko, Sahara in Tokyo. He started off as a yoga and meditation class instructor. Now, another thing, too, because you know I get sidetracked. You know I do that, but that's okay. I need to get this out. I want you to imagine if the internet was real and this guy existed and he had his own YouTube channel or show or whatever, too. You got to think about this stuff. Okay? He started off as a yoga and meditation class instructor. And he called it, I think people called him Aum Shinrikyo no Kai or something, some kind of, it means Aum Immortal Mountain Wizard. That's what his association was called. And it grew a following. This dude told himself he was a mountain wizard and grew a following, okay? This is happening today too. Then it gained an official status as a religious organization in 1989. Now, when one person starts yapping and then they turn something into a religious organization and they get followers, that's when your flag should start going up, because I personally don't believe anybody that's spiritual would want to do all that. It sounds like, Jonestown in a sense. And in 1989, he attracted a considerable number of graduates from Japan's elite universities. These are intelligent people. Ask yourself, how smart am I? Doesn't matter. It does not matter how intelligent you are. Someone that can manipulate you, knows your unconscious. Doesn't matter. So this became dubbed as a religion for the elite to follow this Aum Shinrikyo no Kai, an immortal mountain wizard guy. Now, this was considered controversial in Japan from the beginning. No one did any serious crimes. They did their meditations and prayers and all the stuff, that you would normally do when you go to these things. And all was no one was the wiser. Everything was cool. What did you say? Brian said, sorry, it's delayed. So if the chat room, I'm catching up. So Brian said, Psst, Ingo Swann was a Scientologist. Dude, I've been warned not to do a show about Scientologies or Scientologists because I could get targeted and they could really screw your life up. But I don't like bullies. If that's the case, we'll find out, won't we? But, this guy became obsessed with biblical prophecies. I want you to think about all these shows, man. The Bible prophecies are a big deal to everybody. It makes everybody excited. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But he published comic books and animated cartoons. Hello. And that attempted him to tie its religious ideas to popular anime and manga themes, right? We know how popular anime and manga is. That includes space missions, powerful weapons, world conspiracies, and the quest for ultimate truth. So this guy was not only a yoga instructor, but he was a comic book lover, an anime lover. I mean, this guy blends in with us, doesn't he? He's a cool dude. Who wouldn't want to follow him? He published several magazines, including the, I guess this was called the Vajrayana Saka, and enjoy. I don't know. It means enjoy happiness and adopting a somewhat missionary attitude. He referenced Isaac Asimov a lot. He depicted them as an elite group of spiritually evolved scientists forced to go underground during an age of barbarism as to prepare themselves for the moment when they emerged to rebuild civilization. So he starts talking about how this civilization is going to come back into something more advanced. But right now we're in an age of barbarism. Okay? This is late 80s, man. It sounds like some of the stuff that's happening in 2020s, though, doesn't it? Some of these things we hear people saying. Now, this is where people get you to. They'll play to your Christian side. He used Christian and Buddhist ideas to impress what he considered to be the more shrewd and educated Japanese who were not attracted to boring, purely traditional sermons. And his top disciples reportedly continued their humble lifestyles, the only exception being the armored Mercedes-Benz gifted by a wealthy follower. This is red flag number 3. So this guy has a cult of not just intelligent comic book readers that want to know the truth. Again, remember, what if this was happening nowadays and this guy had his own show? But he had wealthy followers that were giving him cars and houses and all kinds of stuff. Guys like this, I don't know. So he began his advertising and recruitment activities dubbed as the Aum Salvation Plan. Now he's going to save people. That's at this point, anybody that's intelligent should be saying, no, man, there's something going on here, but this is not what the unconscious does. When a person can validate so many things about you, your unconscious wants to attach to validation. That's what it does. So he includes the claims of curing physical illness and health improving techniques, realizing life goals by improving intelligence and positive thinking and concentrating on what was important at the expense of leisure. Now, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. These guys know how to tell 90% truths. This was to be accomplished by practicing ancient teachings, the Pali Sutras, actually. The threefold method of salvation is what he called it. These efforts resulted in him becoming one of the fastest growing religious teachers and his group in Japan's history ever. So why does a dangerous cult grow faster than a strong religion too? That's something else we got to talk about. Now, most of this is harmless. So far, we just got people that are into conspiracy, the end of the world, spirituality, reading comic books, stuff like that, following a guy that's telling them the truth is coming and all this other stuff. But we are going to get into some, you know where this goes, right? LSD, God knows where else it goes. It gets darker. And because people are invested, they keep following. You guys sure you want to follow me on this one? Because it all happened. It's all true. And they just fried some of these bitches a few years ago. Not too long ago. Cooked them. You don't want to know what I think about that. We're at the top of the hour. This is Lighting the Void Monday night, Moonday night. It's 2023. Happy New Year. But I'm giving it out with a fun-loving warning. But I had to. I mean, after after having Bayou on, that stuff shakes me up what people believe a little bit. So without question. So I thought I would talk about it a little bit more. Thanks, Anthony. I'm going to blame this all on you, bro. It's all your fault. Stay with us. You know what's sad about this story? This doomsday cult is we're just like these people. I love anime. I love comic books. I love truth seeking. I love talking about all this stuff. I love spirituality. You know? But don't think for a minute that in this world of day and age that we don't have dark people ready to build their cults and their egos and then move their agendas and play against your unconscious, because they're out there. Probably in droves. I'm not trying to scare you, but they didn't have the internet in 87. And this guy did a damn good job of building a cult, didn't he? So if you're just tuning in, I'm Joe Rube. Welcome to Lighting the Void live on the Fringe FM. We are live right here. It's 1:08 a.m. on the East Coast. It's actually January the 3rd. I hope you're enjoying your new year. I hope you've got all your resolutions in. And I hope you come out to Mount Shasta. February the 9th through the 13th, go to Contact at the Cabin, grab a ticket, come hang out with us, me, the Grimerica crew, Carl Wood, the Higher Side Chatters, Void Walkers, Grimericans, Blue Collar Mystics, all of you guys. All right, so let's get back into this thing. So now I'm going to butcher some of these names. You can look this up for yourself. And we're going to get into, I just want to get into the mentality of this whole thing. I'm going to turn down this damn music. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I like that song, by the way. That's Fly for Your Life by Gunship, which you should be doing. So, again, just to recap, he started this whole thing as a yoga and meditation class, started getting to know some of his people. Think about this on the internet or actually going to one of these classes. And, but this thing got out of hand pretty quick. Because once you get into a group of people are like to be, you validate them and then scare the shit out of them and then validate them again. Now you're a group of people that are outside everybody in the world, and the world is a bad, scary place, right? Then he starts his own religion, gets away from society, pulls his people away from society instead of helping society, starts discussing biblical prophecies, publishes, harmless things, comics, animated cartoons, anime, some fun stuff, the stuff that we like, and then began to teach Christian and Buddhist ideas to impress what he considered to be the more shrewd and educated Japanese. But then this is what you got to pay attention to. Do you know about Scientology? Do you know about magical societies? Do you know about how these things work? Scientology calls it going clear. Crowley recorded his people, every place, you recorded your sessions and stuff. That's where Hubbard learned it from, L. Ron Hubbard. But I'm sure that this guy got close to some of his people, and he come up with this, let's call it a course, because that's what we understand nowadays, an Aum salvation plan that included claims of curing physical illness with health improvement techniques. That's all over the internet nowadays. Realizing life goals by improving intelligence and positive thinking. That's all over the internet nowadays. Sounds like a pyramid scheme's about to happen here, doesn't it? And concentrating on what is important at the expense of leisure. And this was to be accomplished by practicing ancient teachings. I told you it's the Pali Sutras. Now, a guy named Kaplan and Andrew Marshall, they wrote a book in 1996 called it The Cult at the End of the World, the terrifying story of the Aum Doomsday Occult. And so if you want to look this up while I'm talking about it, you can look at what I'm looking at. Aum, spelled A-U-M. Subtitled From the Subways of Tokyo to the Nuclear Arsenals of Russia. They had secret practices, initiation rituals, and they used hallucinogens, psychedelics. We love that stuff too, don't we? Religious practices often involve extremely ascetic practices claimed to be yoga. These things included everything from renunciants being hung upside down to be given shock therapy. Now, before I go on, if you have a very sensitive mind, you might want to turn this off because it starts getting dark. Because this guy believed that everybody had karma that they had to break, which we talk about too, but the best way to break it was to torture yourself physically. Shit like that, yeah. Hello. Did anybody walk out yet? Nope, they're committed. It's like a bad relationship, right? Well, I've been here for 8 years, and I know he punches me in the face, but, I'm so nostalgic about it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Here's where you got to pay attention, right? The cult started attracting controversy back in the late 1880s, and they started accusing even some of their recruits, holding cult members against their will, forcing members to donate money, and murder. They even murdered one of these guys who tried to leave. So if you wanted to leave, now they're going to kill you. Damn, these were Buddhists and Christians, and they liked reading comics and talking about their into the world stuff and watching anime and talking about psychedelics, taking them. And they killed somebody because they wanted to leave. What are we missing here? We're missing something, because how do you jump from being cool like we are to killing people? Night Stalker, you should check this out, man, because something changed here. I love comic books too. So they got into lawsuits in 89. Apparently they raised enough money to where people had to put lawsuits against them to bankrupt them. And the guy even got on so this guy named, I'm going to butcher these names, all right, but I think it's Sasumi Sakamoto. This was an anti-cult lawyer. This is a guy that goes out and goes against cults. Thank God for him, right? He went on a TV show, started talking to TBS. And then the network had the interview secretly shown to the group without notifying Sakamoto, intentionally breaking protection of sources. That's you're not supposed to do that. Then they pressured TBS to cancel the broadcast, right? I'm sure there was a whole slander thing. And, the following month, the lawyer, the anti-cult lawyer, Sakamoto, and his wife and his child went missing. Gone. The police weren't able to resolve the case. But we know who has the motive here. But it wasn't until after the 1995 Tokyo attack, that they were found to have been murdered and their bodies dumped in separate location by these cult members. What are we missing? How it's still not telling us. How did these cool ass people get brainwashed like this? They're not that cool, are they? They're killing people. I wouldn't follow anybody like that. I'm too smart. That's what you're telling yourself, right? You don't know how clever some of these people are, though. Now, there's a lot of allegations. We can't totally prove all this stuff is true, but it doesn't matter, because they got convicted of some dark stuff that there was plenty of evidence for. This group, there were reports against them that they took patients into hospitals and then forced them to pay medical bills, like big-time medical bills. They also were known to have considered assassinations of several individuals of the cult. Oh, that's like trying to leave a gang, right? So this is like a cult. This is a doomsday cult gang that, it's like the Crips or whatever, certain biker clubs out here that we know about that you can't just walk out of. But they name themselves Buddhists and the Institute of Research of Human Happiness, and we just do cartoons and comic books, man. That's it. And the people that did other comic books, right? There was other people that did stuff against them, just making fun of them. Say, you guys are a doomsday cult. Freaking made fun of them. Did their own comic books. They assassinated those people too. Look into it. These guys got serious, man. Then this is when the war starts. Now, if you think about this whole liberal versus Republican thing, it almost got hairy here pretty quick, right? The same kind of thing. Once people start believing, they get violent, and then all of a sudden we start telling ourselves there's a war going on. It's spiritual war, but really they just want a war because they have one inside themselves. They want to hurt other people that don't validate them, right? So in 93, cult members sprayed large amounts of liquid containing Bacillus anthracus. Do you know what that is? That's spores from a cooling tower on the roof. They put the spores on a cooling tower on the roof of the headquarters to cause an anthrax epidemic. That didn't work out, but that's pretty freaking dark, right? People smelled bad odors. Nobody got infected, thank God, but they actually tried to cause an anthrax epidemic. Then, this is where they got successful. What I don't understand and what I'm missing here, if anybody knows about this, or you can call in at 1-800-588-0335. Is how do a bunch of people that are truth seekers, comic book lovers, intelligent people, poor, some were poor, some had money, obviously they all gave their money to this guy. How did they get tossed into doing this? I'm thinking it's the whole psychological manipulation of there's a war going on, right? And God's on our side. Thinking God solves problems the way we do. It's all over the internet now. Hopefully we don't do it. But anyways, this is where they became successful. They started manufacturing nerve agents, which is sarin gas. They tested their sarin gas on sheep. They killed like 30 sheep testing this stuff. So their little anthrax mission didn't work. So they're like, well, maybe we should use sheep as tests. I mean, that's what the scientists do. They use animals. So we're going to try this to make sure that it works. That's how dark this is, right? And nobody that's involved in this is having like doubts or second thoughts about their shit. No, they can't, because if they leave, they're going to get murdered, right? Buddhist and Christian yoga cult. Then they started taking some of you guys may remember this. I was too young. I didn't watch the news when I was this age, but it was happening. They started carrying out chemical weapons attacks against civilians. They released sarin gas. And I think the city of Matsumoto, with the help of a converted refrigerator truck, members of the cult released a cloud of sarin which floated near the homes of judges who were overseeing a lawsuit concerning a real estate dispute, which predicted to go against the cult. They killed 8 and harmed 500 more, and they still failed to implicate the cult at the time. How does that happen? Police investigations focused only on an innocent local resident and failed to implicate the cult at the time. Now these people have become zombies. They've become zombified. I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm trying to do is get you to understand how a person that has conscious intelligence, I'm sure some of these people were brainiacs, yet they're unconscious, is being puppeted by this guy. Well, I got to get Anthony in here to help us with this, man, because like this is where I'm missing something. I'm missing a psychological aspect of the jump here somewhere.
Yeah, what's up, man? I had to call in.
Hold on. Let me get you on the air here. Let me get you on the air. Can you hear? All right.
Right.
All right, I got you. You're on the air now.
What's up? I had to call in real quick because, it's on the tip of your tongue, and I wanted to help you out.
Dude, what am I missing?
Where
did they go from? You and I read comic books. We like fucking read some of the same books, and we're just like these people. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you got to like take, empathy, I guess, and flip it on its head, because the whole idea, I think it was Poya, of like speeding up your karma by just enduring a bunch of physical and psychological torture.
That's crazy, man.
And I mean, that's like a whole old school Catholic thing too. You flog yourself. Like it's definitely a recurring theme. The idea that, and I guess like, at its most basic premise, it has its place, like just the idea of meditation. You're supposed to get past all of even like your bodily ailments and then your mental things and get to that meditative state.
I'm right. I'm probably right about the war thing, right? Like how they get talked into saying,
definitely.
Yeah, dude, we're in a spiritual war and these people are the enemy and we're going to do whatever it takes to fight them because we're the protectors. And then they murder people that try to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you take the warfare concept and you turn that into, or you piggyback, you tie that together with the idea that if you start sarin gassing people or, doing anthrax attacks, that you're speeding up all of these other people's karma, and we're just all, through experiencing all this karmic torture in the present, we're dealing with our karmic debts and getting to the other side of it, which is something that you see, like the more often you look into cults, the more of a recurring theme that that becomes in general. It's an esoteric concept, just sort of yin and yang. There has to be an equal balance, equal and opposite reaction, if you will. But it's all a matter of perspective, because all it takes is some sort of like trauma bonding, if you will, and all of a sudden,
they're invested. They're
dark
invested.
and the light become. Yeah, and then the dark and the light just become means to an end. And then and then that's how you start justifying all these heinous acts, is because these are the catalysts, for the greater good. It's always the greater good mentality. That's what it all boils down to, really. It's creepy, man. That's how you get good people to do terrible things, is for the greater good.
Yeah, you make them believe they're doing it for the greater good. Well, I just don't. Somebody had to have gotten away from these people, right? Like, this story goes on and on and on, and it's just like, the more you get into it, the darker it gets. And even the stuff that these people were accused, or like, I guess you could say, proven guilty about, there's still a ton of stuff that they should have been proven guilty about but got away with too. That's the other freaky thing. And the one thing that bothers me that I was thinking about, because I got to thinking about like us as a community, right? Like, there are so many people trying to like start. If you think about it this way, when you do a show and a podcast and you start putting courses out, and this is something I've always worried about, right? Because when I started the show, dude, I was like, look, I don't want to be anybody's teacher or anything like that, right? Because I want to empower people. I want to help people empower people, which is why I kind of stayed on the magic thing, because it's about self-empowerment, right? But when you start, there's a way to like get people to like depend on your thing. And first it's emotional validation. And second, after that, it's even more validation. And then if that doesn't get the smartest people, then it's just speaking complete logic to them and saying, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And now you're in their little pyramid thing, and it's
just
crazy.
For a little tie-in, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. I'm sure plenty of listeners have heard those names. Lori Vallow, she was the center of the big Netflix true crime thing. I think it was Sins of the Mother, but it sprang right from the New Age movement, and they're still waiting to be fully sentenced, but they're in custody now and everything. But they ended up, it was a lady who was a New Age podcaster, and she was dating this guy who was like this Mormon offshoot New Age guy, and he was writing these successful books and doing all these lectures, and these people were like entrenched in like this New Age general thing that, like I said, kind of bled into Mormonism, and they had this way, this scientological way of like grading people's spiritual enlightenment. And again,
like
it's the same damn thing. They got to this point where they started thinking that the only way to save good souls was to get them out of this life, basically. And like, and again, with any of these people, it's a question of how much did they believe their own bullshit, and how much of this is an excuse. And and more often than not, a fine line of both. But in any case, long story short, these people ended up abducting and like murdering and potentially sacrificing their children. And like I said, they've been in custody, but they're waiting to be fully sentenced. And then they when the kids were missing, many people will remember this. There was, for months, there was a missing persons. There was a national investigation looking for these kids, and everyone knew that this guy Chad Daybell, this New Age Mormon guy, and their mother Lori Vallow were the last people to see them. But no one could. These two people just said, "You guys don't have to worry. They're fine." They said for months, it was at least weeks.
These people were
like upwards of a month or two.
This cult, though, specifically, these people were committed, dude. Like, even when this guy got arrested, and they finally put him in cuffs. His followers still hijacked people and really started hurting people, man. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Once
so
you start
crazy.
something like that, it's just a boulder rolling downhill, man. Yeah, the life of its own. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't claim to understand it. It blows my mind. But yeah, man, I'll let you finish up the narrative. You were telling I was enjoying the story flow, but I just had to throw that in there because
I was missing a psychological jump, right? Like I was missing that.
Well, yeah, you even mentioned it, but just like nail on the head type thing. It really strikes to the whole idea of warping someone's empathy, like making it to where you truly are, in your eyes, doing good by them by doing something really fucked up, basically. And as hard as that is to wrap your head around, like that is the core essence of like 10 out of 10 cults. I can't think of a single cult or even wannabe cult I've ever read about or heard of that has not stabbed at that core motif there. But anyway, and shout out to Bayou Jones. That guy sounds like he really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, dude, he was a little nervous.
To go down to the Everglades.
He was nervous, but he
was a little nervous. That's why he had to smoke so much crack cocaine. But yeah,
it was good stuff.
I look forward to the next conversation with him. Yeah, maybe he'll be a little more coherent, but I doubt it.
I doubt it too, man. I think he's way too into the crack at this point.
All right. Peace to the listeners, and Joe, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, you too, brother. Talk soon. Happy New Year.
You as well. Take care.
We're live on the Fringe FM. It's Monday Night Music, Monday night. I'd like to talk about the unconscious on Monday nights, and I like to play music on Monday nights because it's the moon energy, right? So the unconscious speaks to our moon energy as our moon energy speaks to our unconscious. That includes our fears, insecurities, and all the deep, deep programming of all the illusions, which is indeed what the first stages of the mysteries teach us, which is magic. And magic is all about breaking the illusions and coming into that massive manifestor that you are. But first, we have to see the bullshit for what it is. And so Anthony, listening to Black Hoodie Alchemy, which is one of our Fringe FM podcasters, listen, I love storytelling, and I love radio, and I love people that know how to do it, and Anthony knows how to do it. So you should be listening to Black Hoodie Alchemy for sure. You're missing out if you don't. But tonight, he told me to look into this. Talking about truth seekers and conspiracy people, comic book lovers, and just pretty much the entire demographic of not only who I am, but who we are as a community, and how even people like us could get not only brainwashed, but brainwashed into becoming a part of a death cult. Now, I had to understand how in the hell we could do this psychologically. Now, we discussed this already. How this guy turned everybody from Christian, Buddhist, yoga, meditating truth seekers to believing that they're a part of a spiritual war, murdering their own members for trying to quit, and attacking their own citizens. It gets pretty stupid. But I think it's important that we understand this in the energy of the moon, because if we don't think we're capable of these things, we need to really double check ourselves here, because now we live in a day and age of the internet where everybody has a show, podcast, course following. So I'm asking you to be your own creator. Be careful what you follow. Check it out and learn to listen to your your intuition. And I gotta fade this thing out here. I'll learn how to do that better with this new system. I love this new radio system, though. I really do. It's worth the money. We need your donations. Help us out so we can keep paying for it. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Kat. Thanks, S Magician. Thank all you people that have donated. Thank you. All right. How many people were involved with this? As I go down to the story, I don't really understand. I don't know how many followers he got. I don't know how many followers this guy got. It doesn't say, but if you're asking yourself, well, how smart could these people be? How about a chemist, right? Because, you heard me say, well, this guy could brainwash even the most intelligent people. No. These people are stupid. No, look. This guy ordered the killing of a secret member, Kotaro Ochida. This guy was a pharmacist. Do you know why he murdered him or ordered his murder? Because he tried to escape the compound. He tried to escape the group. Now, here's it takes brains to be a pharmacist, right? You got to know your chemistry and stuff. But when things started getting violent, this guy wanted out, and they killed him for it. He was held down and strangled by another member. Of course, the leader's not going to do it. Because he also told one of the guys that if he didn't strangle him, he was going to kill him too. How long would it take for this stuff to happen? It took until 1995 for Japan to strip them of their religious legal rights. And then they bankrupted in 96. But did you know to this day? Okay, Anthony's texting me. This guy had hundreds of... that's even freakier, man. Hundreds of thousands of followers, even people in Russia. And we just do it on a faster level now. We got YouTube videos that have that many views and followers and subscribers. Damn. So they stripped him of his religion. They bankrupted him in 96, but the group continued. It says continues. Are these people still around today? God, I hope not. There's a constitutional guarantee of freedom of religion. But this whole thing was funded by donations. Successful computer business and donations. Think about that. Internet donations under strict surveillance. Why are they still allowed to exist? That's my point, right? Like, this is stupid. There were attempts to ban the group altogether under the 1952 Subversive Activities Prevention Law that were rejected by the Public Security Examination Commission. So this is something the guy got to say. Look, if we tell ourselves we're a religious movement, even if I started the thing, there's so many laws protecting these religious movements, it's probably still open. Look at the hell they have to go through to shut it down. So they morph and they transform. Don't think for a minute our religions haven't done that. The Christians and the Muslims and every major religion, don't think because you're a part of a major religion it's not the same thing. We have just morphed and transformed. We don't kill people anymore, not really. We don't destroy people and kill them and murder them the way we used to. Because we're a religion. We morphed and we became better, but we used to kill people in the name of whatever we believe. We used to have us murder each other, and because people were just seeking validation, love, and truth. And they needed someone to show them the way. So Anthony's messaged me saying they're still around in small form, but this was super mainstream back then. See, I was a babe. I was a youngin' in the 80s and earlys. Like, I wasn't even aware. When you're a kid, you don't even think about this stuff, right? You damn sure don't want to tell your kids about it. For over 15 years, it says, let's see, I don't want to skip anything important here, though. Of course, they transform. Just my point is, all religions do that. We transform, so we're good. We don't hurt people anymore. We don't kill people. But all religions did. Even the Buddhists back in the day, they warred each other. I mean, if you look into the samurai versus all this other stuff, there were all kinds of wars in the name of certain things. Same thing in the Christian stuff. But they regrouped under the new name Aleph. Aleph, that's a Hebrew word. That's Hebrew. In February of 2000, it announced a change in doctrine. Religious texts related to controversial stuff, I guess the Vajrayana Buddhist doctrines in the Bible were removed. So I'm sure the Christians and the actual Christians and Buddhists fought them and said, hey, get our books out of your shit. So they removed those. And the group apologized to the victims of the sarin gas attack and established a special compensation fund. This is after they killed a bunch of people, murdered a bunch of people, tortured a bunch of people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There is a few that didn't face serious charges. Some other guy, Joyu, let's just call him Fumihiro Joyu. He became one of the leaders, and in 1999. But this other guy, Koshi Ishii, a legislator who formed an anti-Aum committee in the National Diet in 99, was murdered again. Oh, so even after they adapted, even after they were like, no, man, we're going to be good people, anybody that went against them somehow mysteriously got murdered again. Well, I'll be a sumbitch. Says here, for over 15 years, only 3 fugitives were being actively sought. But at 11:50 p.m. on December the 31st, 2011, Makoto Hirata surrendered himself to the police and was arrested on suspicion of being involved in the 1995 of abductions of Kiyoshi Kariya. The cult leader himself, though, was sentenced to death and hung to death. But this Kariya, a non-member who had died during an kidnapping interrogation. Well, see, this is just the cases that they're finding out about. They captured another guy, a second fugitive in 2012, acting on a tip from local residents, acting on information from the capture of the previous one, including recent photographs showing a modified appearance. The last remaining fugitive, this guy's name was Katsuya Takashi, was captured on June 15th of 2012, and he is also said to have been the driver in the Tokyo gas attack and was caught in Tokyo. This guy was on the run for 17 years. 6 other people were hung for this. Now, this is a quote that I agree with, though. So Japan's Justice Minister, Yoko Kamikawa, stated that these crimes by this Aum death cult plunged people not only in Japan but in other countries as well into deadly fear and shook society into its core. What do you think about that? See, this is something that I think about because I like this Libra energy of justice. Should these some bitches be executed? I think so. But some people say that that's mean. I don't think people like this should be allowed to walk around on Earth. And I know that, I get it. I get it. Because some people are going to say, yeah, well, some people, they just lose it. They go to the dark side and they get rehabilitated. Yeah, I mean, drug addicts, thieves, people that compulsively lie, even violent people, to a certain extent get rehabilitated. But murderers, like people that have kidnapped and murdered and tortured people and committed mass genocide, and where does that line end where that you have compassion for? But speaking of karma, this guy got his karma, I think, because he was hung to death. I think he got justice for what he did. You can't play with it. And if you guys go back to that show where I was talking about the seeds in the garden, this is what the unconscious is all about. It's not about the conversation that you're hearing. I mean, we're in the moon energy. Let's talk about it. It's Monday. It's not about the words that you're hearing or anything that you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. It's about the seeds of validation or invalidation or fear or whatever that I'm planting in your head by talking about this whole thing. This is why you have to be careful by being one of these people that say, well, because I speak my mind all the time, I'm a truth speaker. No. I think it's in that movie Glass Onion. It was funny that Blanca detective, he said it's dangerous to compare speaking without thought for speaking the truth. Because people, no matter how intelligent they are, and myself included, we are all run by our unconscious, our subconscious. Carl Jung was smart enough to understand this and taught us all about it. And the people that are smart enough to really understand this and accept the fact that there is something inside them that is puppeting their life and their ego, and to constantly introspect and keep that thing in check, no matter how intelligent, logic, emotional, validation, whatever, doesn't matter. That thing needs to be kept in check. That thing needs to be nourished, talked to, all this stuff, the shadow work, the stuff we talk about. If you're really caring about spirituality, if you really have empathy for others, then that's what our growth is about. But not cult people, not people that just, the second you get validation, you feed off of it. And then you start a movement and you just keep feeding the ego and the validation. Next thing you know, you're in a war, a spiritual war. That's a whole other show I want to do. Like, why do we always talk about spiritual wars all the time? Even in the books that you say we're in spiritual wars about, the God himself tells you, I created both sides. So do you think a thing that created both sides fights the battle the way that we do? I just don't. Whether it's a simulation or whatever you want to call it, like, you can't see what's going on. And how could any of these people have love in their heart while they were doing these things? And how many of them out of the hundreds of thousands of cult members got away with this stuff? All because one guy validated them. Now this happens on an even bigger level. What I'm saying is this happens on a bigger level on the internet. A YouTube channel can be a cult. Look what happened to Alex Jones. I'm not saying he's a cult leader or anything like that, but the amount of influence that he had over people was massive. Some of the same things were discussed. Nowadays, he's trying to tell people, I've listened to a show, he's trying to tell people to think for yourself. Some say he's backtracking, but I think the whole time he was just growing. And you hold the people that are like creating content and growing to a higher standard than you hold yourself. Don't get me started on going down the road of how many people did heinous acts because they fell in love with a YouTube channel or a show or something like that. I'm hoping when this is all over that we actually do come together. We get through all this whole Aquarius, all about me, follow my thing, my world thing, and we come together as a community somehow, in a sense, or a collective without losing our individuality. We all become like interdependent where we can actually love each other but not freak out all the time either. That would be cool. But anyways, just one story like this gets my head spinning on a night where I should be just playing music. And why the hell did they call themselves Aleph? See, I got to look into that too, because that's a Hebrew letter. There's so much more to this story. I hope Anthony covers it on his show. But I guess the point of tonight is just to pay attention and to question everything. That's something that Stephen Ash told me, which was, I would say, was one of my mentors before he passed away. He was a real magician in the sense of the word. When I say magician, I don't mean mountain wizard like this guy, you know. He said, listen to everything, read everything, believe nothing, investigate, study, and experience it all for yourself. Find the truth out for yourself. Just because you say yeah and someone else goes yeah doesn't mean that you've stepped into an ultimate truth and that you should just follow that energy. Which this is entirely separate from love. We'll get to love. Now we're all so focused on the damn truth, but eventually we'll get back to love, man. We'll get there again. But I've personally seen in my own life, and I'm sure you have too, depending on how, I don't know, depending on how like crazy or healthy your upbringing was, but you can see the unconscious happen even as a child. I saw people get beat when I was little. I saw drunks and people fight each other over the dumbest things when you're a kid. And when you're a kid, it freaks you out. It scares you. You don't even understand it. They're so quick to anger and war somebody else. And all that comes from, you know where that really comes from? If you study Carl Jung or any true spiritual stuff, it comes from your fear. Your fear of not being loved, of not being safe, of not being protected, and your fear of not knowing what the hell's coming down the road. And that's all these cult people play on. You want to look into things like this, okay? There's a whole governmental list of cults and sects. A whole lot of them claiming to be Buddhists and Christians and Orthodox people. But it gets dark. Because, you know, we hear a lot about government experimentation, but it doesn't take the CIA to do this. It just takes one dude reading comic books thinking about stuff. You could start your own cult if you wanted to. So, with that being said, I would just like to say, as we leave the moon energy of Monday, we head into Tuesday, be aware of other people's unconscious. Don't use it against them. Don't manipulate them because you are aware of it. Nurture it, heal it, love it. Let them express it. Tell them you understand, not to get your way, but because you actually give a shit. Not to start a movement, make money, or do anything like that, because you actually give a shit. And if you don't, you should get the hell away from people. That's the way I look at it. I guess that's what compassion's all about, isn't it? You stay tuned for the Jess Rogie Show. Tomorrow night, we'll do the regular talk show. Less music, more talk. We'll get some guests back on. I'm going to try to get Brian on here, too, for the end of the week. I love each and every one of you. Please donate to the station. If you can make it to the event, the Contact at the Cabin event, the Magic Edition, that would be fantastic. Go check out the website. Get tickets. There's still a few left. We just got a few weeks. We'll do some more. You know what? We'll do some more Mount Shasta shows, too. Why not? Good night, y'all.